Hello and welcome to Sweet Shot Games Dota 2 Captain's Mode Drafting Guide. So you might have seen my other Captain's Mode Drafting Guide, and that one's a little bit out of date now. They've had a patch that's updated the Captain's Mode, and they changed a few things up. So this should be a little more updated for you guys and hopefully stay relevant for a little while longer. And if there are any other major changes that are made in the future, then hopefully I'll be able to come back to this and update it again. So before we start, real quick, I want to point out that there are some grayed out heroes that you can see here, and those heroes are either recently added or recently reworked. So they're just trying to make sure that those heroes are as balanced as possible before they put them into the drafting mode. Now I'm here with my good buddy Tony Ortiz, and what we're going to do is try to simulate how you might see some of the pros typically draft for their team. Now keep in mind that the metagame is always changing up, and there's not going to be a specific strategy that you see every single time. So this is just a guideline to point you in the right direction. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to reset the timer and then we're going to start our draft. He's got the first ban, it looks like. For the first set of bans, typically I think you want to ban out either something you think is very overpowered or something you don't want to deal with, or you can do a specific ban against a person or player on the other team that you think they're extremely good with. So you'll see this a lot in the pro scene because they study their opponents and know their opponents very well. So Tony, what do you think would be some good ban options for the first ban?
Well, definitely early you want to look at the strongest heroes in the game, and heroes generally you don't want to deal with, which would be Templar Assassin, Bat Rider, and Magnus, I'd say, are probably the top three priority. And then from there on down the list, you probably have strong considerations will be Darkseer, Wisp, Bounty Hunter, possibly even Undying, or any kind of hero that is a marquee hero on the enemy team that you definitely do not want to deal with. That a particular player is very, very good with. So, thinking about how I want to set up my draft, and since I have the first ban, that means I also have the first pick. I want to try to force a certain hero through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ban around that pick and force you to ban it if you can figure out what it is. And I'm going to start by banning Templar Assassin. I don't want to deal with her in the mid lane. She's just really strong in the mid lane and probably the strongest, and I don't want to deal with that, so I'm going to get rid of her.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on all those choices and options that you mentioned. Templar Assassin, of course, being the strongest mid hero, in my opinion, currently, and something that you'll definitely see the pros be picking up a lot. And then also, if you notice that you have the second two picks, it's a lot of times you can use that as a way to pick up something for your team that has really good synergy. So for my first ban, I'm going to ban out Magnus. I think he's a really strong hero right now with a ton of team fight capability, and that's something you see a lot in the pro scene right now, so I'm going to ban him.
All right. And thinking about what I want to do with the rest of my team, I already have a strategy in mind of how I want to play it. I really don't want to deal with certain types of heroes that are going to get in the way of my mid-game sort of initiate and ganking strategy that I have planned. So what I'm going to do is I want to force through either Bat Rider or Darkseer to pick. So what I want to do is I don't want to ban either one of them. I want to force Sweet Shot to ban one. So I'm going to ban Undying because he's very tanky and he is very anti-team fight in terms of, or anti-gank, I guess I could say, as well. So I'm going to ban him out.
For my next ban, I'm going to be wanting to ban out Darkseer because I think he's more problematic than a Bat Rider, who is definitely worthy of a ban. However, Darkseer, even though we don't see him in every single game, he can pose a lot of problems for your team, and he's a very versatile hero that can go pretty much anywhere and do pretty much anything. So I'm going to ban him out then, and that leaves Tony with the first pick then.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and follow through and take the Bat Rider the exact way I planned it. So there he is.
With the first pick, he's able to pick up what he wants. He's got a very solid strategy in mind. A lot of the pro teams will know what they want to do first off before they enter into a game. They'll kind of know what kind of strategy they want to go for, and then just leave a little bit of room for some various counter picks and whatnot. So for my next two picks, since I have two now, I can pick something with really great synergy, like Wisp, which is a really great support hero who goes really well with a lot of heroes like CK and Sven. And what are some others you think might go well with him?
Tiny works, and I think that also a strategy we haven't seen used a lot yet, but would be really cool would be to take Nake's Lifestealer, because you could put his ultimate on another hero, jump inside of them, and have Wisp teleport the third hero in, and you could pop out with three. And I think that's something that's really cool that people haven't picked yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. So now you got your next two picks. What do you want?
Well, now that I see that you have Chaos Knight and Wisp, I have two options basically. I can take the carry I want now and let you counter him, or what I can do is I can take two support heroes that are going to set up what I want to do, and if I feel confident enough with taking a carry, knowing that you're probably going to ban some out since I don't have one yet, if I feel confident in taking one later and having a little bit smaller of a selection, then I can go ahead and not exactly tip my hand and tell you what I'm going to do, through my picks. So that's I think what I'm going to do. I'm comfortable playing several carries, and several of them do fit the strategy that I want to run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two really good supports that have really good team fighting capabilities and decent mobility and nicks, and then superb team fight and just all-around great control in Jakiro.
Yeah, those are definitely very good options. And in the pro scene, we'll see this a lot where you pick up with your first three picks something with a lot of versatility that doesn't necessarily show your hand, like you were saying. And since I've already picked up Wisp and CK, you kind of already know where they're going to go most likely in the safe lane. So to kind of disguise a little bit with the rest of my strategy, I'm going to pick up something like Enigma or a Nature's Prophet. Those are two really good heroes. They have a lot of versatility and they can go pretty much anywhere. And again, they're not always picked up in the pro scene. However, they're very strong and very versatile and very good for disguising your team. So I'm going to pick up Enigma, and that puts us into our second round of bans.
Right, and here is where you have to kind of look at what the enemy team has and then decide what to ban based on that. Now, I see that there's two things that Sweetshot needs. He needs a mid laner, because I assume that Enigma's either going to be off laner in the jungle. I assume he's not going to be mid unless necessary. And then I think he needs a second support, because Wisp really is going to be 100% babysitting Chaos Knight. I know that. So a second support's going to be needed to either A, do the pulling, or at least B, like roam and do some ganking on me. So what I want to do is I want to take away all the options that I possibly can. I think the best option to take away here is Chen, because Chen in the pro game, a lot of players are great with him. They really control the micro. There's a lot of things he has that you don't want to deal with, like the map-wide heal, so I'm going to take him out.
Yep, with the second round bans, you're going to see in the pro scene that they ban out either a specific role that the opponent appears to be lacking, or they can still ban out a specific hero that they know a specific player on the enemy team is able to play really well. You'll see a lot of times against Navi, teams ban out like a Pudge because they know that Dendi is very good on Pudge. But since I see he needs a carry still, I'm going to ban out what I think is one of the best carries in the game in Animage.
And then now I'm going to look towards, again, staying along the lines with he needs that last support hero, and I think that's what I can control the most. I think there's too many mid lane heroes, since I need one as well still, for what I plan on running. I don't plan on running Nyx in the mid to get rid of all of them. So I think I can do better as I can focus, get rid of that extra support. So my strategy is pretty much geared towards the middle of the game. And winning, I don't really want to go past, say, 40 minutes or so. And I want to take out what I think is going to hurt some of my guys quite a bit, and the best really support in the late game, and I think that's Shadow Demon, so I'm going to take him out.
Alright, and then for my next ban, I want to ban out something that I feel is going to be a good counter against the CK Wisp combo that I have. So something like a Life Stealer who has that BKB, that free BKB in his ability, that can allow him to run away freely or attack freely through a CK gank and a Wisp gank. So I'm going to ban him out.
Well, looking at what you need as well, the support and what I already have and what I plan on picking, I really don't want to deal with any of my abilities being turned against me. And this is where I'm going to take out Rubik because he can easily do that 4 support role pretty well, and I don't want to see him being able to steal Lasso or Vendetta or Impale or even Macro Pyre and Ice Path and some of the things I plan on picking later. So I'm going to take care of him right now.
Yep, it's a very solid banning phase, I think. For my last ban, I think I want to take out Juggernaut. I think he's another good counter to the Wisp CK combo since he does have that magic immunity, as well as an ultimate that makes him invulnerable for the period of time that he's using it. And it also would be a solid mid game strategy type hero for the lineup that Tony has right now. And it's not something you'll see all the time in a pro game. However, every once in a while you'll see him picked up for that mid-game strategy. So I'm going to ban him out, and that puts it over to Tony for his next pick.
And this is the toughest pick I think I have to make in my draft, and I'm really kind of torn between 2 or 3 mid heroes here. And what I really want to do is I want to take a strength hero because I think I need a little bit more tank. I plan on taking an agility carry last. And I'm really bouncing between Beastmaster, Dragon Knight, and Brewmaster. When I look over at that team, I think the most effective pick is probably going to be Beastmaster. Yet, I still think that there's a few things he can do to counter him better, and I think the least counterable of the 3, who always has a get-out-of-jail-free card in his ultimate, is Brewmaster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Brewmaster and just be confident in my player's ability to play Brewmaster mid well, and definitely, do some damage in the mid-game.
Yeah, Brewmaster is very solid. Again, something you don't always see, but when a pro plays him, he can be very effective in team fights. And so now for me, I want to get that support for my team. At this point, I want to pick up something very strong, which is a Venomancer for my next support hero. He can be very strong in a tri-lane since he has one of the best first skills to get at level 1. So I'm going to pick him up. And that brings us to our last picks then.
And now I have a couple options that carry. If I was going for a later game strategy, I would probably look towards a Luna or maybe a Naga Siren here. But really what I'm looking for is I'm looking for mid-game power, and this really helps me narrow it down to basically either Sven, Phantom Lancer, or Lone Druid. And I think Phantom Lancer is probably the best option because he has a lot of ways to bait out the big abilities that are on the team, like Poison Nova, Black Hole, and even maybe possibly catch a teleport illusion, on. And he also has a decent escape as well, so I think that's going to make him safer even with the support in the lane. So I'm going to go ahead and take Phantom Lancer.
Yep, definitely a very solid pick. That's something we're seeing a lot more of in the pro scene lately. The Phantom Lancer is pretty strong. For me, my final pick, I want something that can kind of deal with everything that Tony has already picked. Something that would give me some good early to mid game dominance, especially against that Brewmaster. Something that would be very strong as a solo mid. So I'm going to pick up a Queen of Pain as my final pick.
I like that Queen of Pain pick against the Brewmaster. She does have better room control, and she can do a lot of harassment to him, and it's pretty solid. Yeah, this is typically what you would see in a pro draft. So then your strategy will definitely change in the pub style draft if you do queue for Captain's Mode, and I'm sure we'll definitely go into detail on that.
Alright, well that'll do it for the Pro Style Draft. Thanks for watching, and Tony, thanks for being with me today. Why don't you let the people know where they can find you?
Okay, yeah, you can follow me at Tony Ortiz15 on Twitter. You can look me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Tony Ortiz. You can shoot me an email at tony@radioinfluence.com. You can check out our podcast, Defense of the Ale, on radioinfluence.com. And if you like that, you can also email our show directly at Dota2@radioinfluence.com. Thanks.
Okay, great. Also, keep an eye out for the next one we do, which will be more from our own perspective as a player rather than from the professional player's perspective. So hopefully that'll provide more insight for you as to how you can incorporate some of the strategies you see from the pros into your own playstyle. And once again, thanks for watching.